So, so kind of, I guess this is, I mean, we can't avoid talking about 2XKO when we talk about like kind of approachable or accessible game design. One thing that I noticed about 2XKO is that it is one of those games where like there's a lot of stuff in there, like mechanically, and I mean this is like a tag game where you can parry, like that's
and
it's like
especially during the second alpha lab, like they added more stuff, and that's why people started criticizing, because it started feeling overwhelming with all the stuff they had.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, every mechanic by itself is not like a complicated idea. Like everyone knows what, like, what they know what parries are, and like it's not hard to execute anything in terms of like a single thing, like a move, no DP motions, no motion inputs. Everything individually is kind of like a simple concept. But I think right now the what people are talking about online is that they kind of combined all those kind of simple ideas, and then now it's become this kind of now it's got everything, and then now there's so much to think about when you're playing, right? And so if you look at like games like take any Street Fighter with multiple iterations, like New Generation, Second Impact, Third Strike. The red parry doesn't come at New Generation, right? Red focus, came into Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, the later
right?
stages. Yeah.
The red thing and so these are kind of mechanical things that are kind of added after everyone has already learned the stuff in the past.
What was the name of the
Street Fighter 5 had V-Shift.
V-Shift, yeah.
Yeah, V-Shift was added.
Nice.
So these are kind of things like, and I think if you look at the cycle,
even Street Fighter 4, they had the delayed wake up also.
Oh yeah, they had.
Yeah, that's right.
Added delay wake up because of the infamous unblockables happening left, right, center.
Yeah. That was kind of like a way to add more variation to the gameplay, because like I remember playing.
And then people got so smart that they would have covered both situations too eventually.
Oh yeah. But that's people learning the game. That is fun for people who are trying to figure out
things to discover on the mechanics. They added.
No, I mean I like right now they stopped working on the game, or there's no more patches for Street Fighter 4. But I went to arcades in Japan. I went to Hey Arcade.
Oh, dude.
And I played like a Kami player, and like I was like, man, this person mastered every single Oki situation like ever. I just feel airtight Kami in Ultra Street Fighter 4. I'm like, damn. But
you also have to think that like in general, Asian culture is more about like a focus and dedication. Like whatever you decide to do, whatever you decide to engage in, that must be like your full drive. You need to, like, you cannot half-ass things. Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Western culture is like enjoy multiple things, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, it was like
yes.
It's like it's terrible being a nerd in Japan. Because there's always so much stuff you want to do, you can do.
Yeah, the rabbit hole's so deep, though. And you feel like if you don't go that deep, then you don't belong or something.
No,
right?
and there's also like, on this particular day, there's like this gathering of this game I play over here, but this other gathering of this other game I play over here, and this event, unrelated event of something else I like on another place, and I have to choose.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I want to do all three of them.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. Meanwhile, people in general, it's like this is the thing. So, like you say, it's like Street Fighter 4 is the game I love. It's the game I'm devoted to. So I'm going to like perfect the craft of playing Kami in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
and that's like my devotion out. Like the free time I have outside of work. This is a goal.
Yeah. There's definitely there's back in Street Fighter 4 days, there was the Japanese culture of maining and specializing in a single character, right? It was Daigo was very stubborn to play even as secondary, even for hard matchups. But that was also because I guess the Nessica system was kind of encouraged that of playing your character. But it's definitely changed a bit now. I think like kind of character loyalty is kind of, I guess, like with some of the execution barriers being reduced, being able to play other characters is more possible now. And with the patch system, with games being patched more regularly, it benefits a lot.
It's not just that, like, because you start seeing, I think the factor is different. I think what has to do with it is mostly it's like for example in Japan, the advent of esports and like actual cash prizes. It has changed everything, because only recently they started like to figure out a loophole to start giving out cash prizes in Japan. It was basically like this whole esports license system.
Yes,
so
yes.
Basically, esports players can be considered like they're working on that, so they can receive
Yes.
like prize money. And then you start see, even in older games, like for example, a couple of years ago when Third Strike was at Evo Japan's on singles, and it was the first time the tournament had a cash prize money over there in Japan. In like big because there's been like smaller things, but this was like the first time
Sure,
they had like what can be considered like a reasonable payout, and that's the first time you saw the top. It was Chan 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 Jun 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 Chan Chan.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that, right? Like when there's not that much on the line, then you can be the character loyalist.
yeah, you can play for pride or whatever you want. But now that there's like a real incentive to do well.
Play to win.
Yeah. That's a big difference. It's not like a culture. So it's just that like there was no real incentive to like really try hard the game.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. This might be a little controversial. Could be a controversial perspective, but I guess I know some people might feel that people who play like maybe who will stay with like a low tier character is like maybe afraid to play a higher tier character because it might say something about their drive to win. Maybe. I don't know. Do you think there's something to be said about that, or
depends on the perspective. Like in my own personal case, since I'm not like a naturally talented player, I don't have access to resources that the best Japanese players or Korean players or American players have, like good sponsorships, like a good amount of other high level players to practice with, tournaments. Like high frequency of tournaments with like high stakes and that kind of stuff. I don't have access to that.
Sure, yeah.
So if I try to put myself like play on like equal terms to these people, it's always going to be a losing proposition for me, because like if I try to play like a top tier character and I play a Japanese or American player that plays the same top tier character, it's like what advantage can I have against this player? That has like everything on their favor. Like unless I research something that they don't know, which is very, very improbable in this day and age, it's always going to be a losing proposal for me. So
so this is a strategic thing. Is what you're saying.
For me, for example, having to pick a non-top tier character is almost mandatory if I do want to do well, because it's the only shot I have at bringing something to the table that can put my opponent in a state of discomfort. And shaking them down is like that way is, I feel, the only way I can defeat a player that has all these other advantages over me.
But see, this is where now you're really playing the game at the highest level, right? When you're thinking about like the meta of the character choice is also affected by the frequency of the characters coming up. Those are kind of unexplored areas, right? And if you look at a lot of, there's so many tournaments where people will win the whole tournament with a studied character, not necessarily where people thought was like low tier, but characters that people just didn't know much about. And if you look at Shen in 2013, like who played Gen? Like I can't even, how many top level Gen players can you name in the Street Fighter 4 era?
Japanese player, that's it.
And it's like he won and it's just I think what you're saying is very much
it's very similar with, like, for example, Rangchu, for example.
Yes, Rangchu.
And he's done it twice. And it's the same way. And it's like just when like it was completely outside of the radar. He swooped in, won when it mattered. He never won anything with Bears again ever. Like in Tekken 7, he had to end up moving up to like Julia.
He played Julia,
which was like one of the best characters. But it's like he won when it mattered, when it counted with Bears. and then he did it again.
Yeah, he did it again. Yeah.
The
But I
first
mean,
season of Tekken 8.
It's insane.
yeah, but I mean,
And it's
you know,
like again,
yeah.
it's like everyone's like, oh, like new games, like well, forget, because of course after you do it,
Yeah.
then it becomes like, okay, this characters exist, so now we have to be prepared for them.
Yeah.
So it works as long as no one is like expecting it.
Yeah.
And like also coming from trading card game like competitive trading card games.
Yeah.
It's very similar. You see it more often over there. Like you have to it's in card games you actually think a lot more than in fighting games about your like spread of the what you're expected to encounter and want to bring to a tournament because of that.
Okay, so it's very in card games. You say you would say that's even more that plays a bigger factor even than in fighting games.
Like okay, I can play all these characters, like for example, and I expect these strong players that play these strong characters at the tournament. So I will bring this character because it does well against those, or like most people are playing this, so like just bring whatever works better against most. But the difference, of course, is that in card games you cannot change your deck in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah,
right.
Course, yeah.
So you're stuck with your decision. So you need to analyze more before making your decision, right?
Yeah.
And it can also change a lot, just like in fighting games, it changes a lot across different regions. Like there are some characters that are more popular in certain regions and so on.
Yeah.
But the mindset is similar. Is that basically you want to know what to expect and what works better on that environment. So, for example, you know when like, okay, after a few years, the bear hype died down again, and bears were again like, oh, these characters cannot win anything, blah blah, and I'm going to be like, it's time again.
It's time again, yeah.
Again,
but yeah, I mean, you can't sleep on that. And if you do, then it's your fault the second time, right?
I mean, you can't sleep on that. But can you put effort in learning a matchup that only a single player plays?
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, it's like
is it worth the effort?
Yeah.
And then how are you going to practice? The only way to practice the matchup is playing him, because he's the only person that plays that matchup at the level. And it was the same for me in Marvel.
Yeah.
Because for Tekken, I remember Atif had to learn the bears.
Yeah.
And he trained with Arslan so that they would have some idea around it. And
that
then
was Ranchu's fault.
And then eventually, so it's like a butterfly effect. Because of the existence of Rangchu, a player from a different region had to learn the character from the scratch.
Yeah, because that's different, because when you're playing at the highest level, you go to any event and you can point with your fingers, this person I can lose with, this person I can lose to, this person I can lose to, this person I can lose to. No one else in here could beat me. Like I can autopilot everyone else here, but this person, I need to like be aware of. So you like even before, like by looking at the brackets, you know who, like after you reach a certain level, who you're gonna probably end up having to play against.
Yeah.
And that allows you to prepare. And then if you know that someone like Rancho is one of the few people that you could lose to in tournament, then and you're playing for like thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Then it's your duty to prepare.
It's mandatory. Yeah, you just have to.
It's your responsibility, because at that point it's your job.
Yeah.
But like at that point, so you need to be responsible and treat it like your job, and that also means like prepare for that kind of situations, because it's on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a big. Playing an underutilized character. Like I guess like I'm kind of I'm a Shoto player, so most of my matches everyone knows how to play against my character. But when I played Tekken 7, I mained two characters that were not the most common, which was Ling Xiaoyu and Akuma, right? And those are like, they play very different from like your standard Mishimas, right? And one thing I did notice, just playing Ling, was I could categorize my opponents, people who knew my character and people who didn't.
The thing is that also Tekken is like 3D fighting games in general are very way more matchup intensive than 2D fighting games. Like 2D fighting games, 2D fighting game characters in general are more linear with some exceptions. Like usually in anime, it's like more different. But like 3D characters in 3D fighting games are like those games are designed with that even if you're good at the game,
Yeah.
if you don't know the matchup you're playing against,
Yeah.
you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Like if one character, if one player knows the matchup and the other one doesn't know the matchup, immediately becomes 9-1 in favor of who knows the matchup.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which characters you like both of you are playing.
Yeah, and like one of the weirdest characters in Tekken 7 to come out was Akuma, right? Because it's a 2D character, and I would say even weirder than Geese, because Akuma had like demon flips and stuff like that, and like
and not just that, like even Geese like had like 2D mechanics, but like in behavior it was still kind of like a 3D character. Like his jump wasn't like
that's true.
2D
Yeah,
jump,
it wasn't
for
like
example.
the Akuma was way more 2D and weird.
yeah.
And it was
However, I think the big problem with Akuma is that it takes Tekken players so far out of their comfort zone,
yeah.
because most Tekken players only play Tekken.
Yeah.
So dealing with like seeing a character that high up, and it wasn't because they launched them,
Yeah.
is like
Yeah, that's like melt your
Mind-blowing,
brain. Yeah,
yeah.
that's like playing a 2D game and somebody just walks into the background
Yeah.
or something and does some kind of move from the background. It's like, what is going on, right? And
they can do that in Fatal Fury.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's a old school Fatal Fury. Yeah, that was
But yeah, it's like, but then the very few people that play Tekken as their main game, but also had 2D game experience,
yeah.
they didn't have as many problems dealing with Akuma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see that. So it was more of like the distance that the system had with like most players that made them like they had to scramble on their library of information of answers and find known to deal with this.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing developed for this on their brains. And I think that was why Akuma felt so out of place for most Tekken
Yeah,
players.
I mean, he was definitely like, in my video, every fighting game type explained. I talk about the predator effect, right? It's like this. It's basically an alien that from another planet with this different technology that comes in and just starts pissing everyone off, right? And I recognize this like in the Tekken community. Even after tournaments, people would talk about like starting a different kind of tournament where 2Ds are banned, in Tekken 7, like it was so severe that like I think in Korea, Akuma was just not considered a character that you really played, right? So like what ended up happening was in Pakistan they didn't care. They're just like, no, we'll play Akuma because he's good and strong. And so the funniest thing I think for me in the lifespan of Tekken 7 was when FR came out. The only person who was playing Akuma at a high level was Punko, the Street Fighter player, and he got third place in Tekken 7
At
Evo.
Evo,
Punko, who like he never plays 3D games, and he just started like doing really well in these tournaments. He actually gave me he asked me to cash in the check that he got for that victory, and I was like, I'm not cashing your own checks, man. Like, but it's funny because
Classic Punko.
yeah, but it's so funny because people kind of slept on Akuma for a while, and then when Pakistan came with Akumas, like there's just tons of Akumas in Pakistan that they just discovered this character, and like Atif is not really he picked Akuma because he's strong. Atif, like if you look at his Jin, you can tell Jin is the character that he's like the Tekken character that he's the most practiced with, and then you'll see him picking Akuma, and it's just like just because he knows he's a strong character, and then like he goes to Japan and just starts sweeping people, and they don't know what to do, and it's like you could sleep on a character for many reasons, I think, thinking that they're low tier, right? But then I feel like because the character is so unorthodox, a community can just ignore that character, right? And then if somebody else figures it out, then then you're in trouble, right? I mean, you're a Dalsum player, right? I mean, I guess Dalsum is so old in Street Fighter now that everyone's kind of like, okay, the Dalsum is a fact of Street Fighter life, but like
they give him they give him a pass. For
yeah, they
that.
give him a pass, like the unorthodox characters. But I guess like in terms of designing an unorthodox character, I guess like the vending machine character, you know, like something like that. It must be a lot of fun, I imagine, because you can kind of experiment with different kinds of moves and move sets and stuff that kind of break the rules of the game. I guess my question is, how do you know how far you can stretch the characters, right? Because like at one point, like, you know, you guys have made a game that's like kind of like Street Fighter style in terms of no air blocking, right? You can anti-airs are very important, but then like if you were to just suddenly have a character with air dashing, then it would kind of like, I think balance will be very difficult. So I guess, you know, like, I guess there's some parameters you have to stick by, but like how far do you feel you can stretch these different kinds of characters? And then do you feel like, what do you think is the downside of like maybe stretching a character too far in quite literally with someone like Dalsum? Because like when Dalsum was first out, that was like the most ridiculous thing.
I reckon the developers had a lot of fun with it because like, oh, I want the attack to reach a certain distance. You can't do that with Ryu other than just throwing a fireball.
Yeah.
All right, let's just make this guy's limbs stretch infinitely.
Yeah,
or
like a
as much as
roundhouse
we
kick
want.
goes like almost full screen. I bet you when they animated that and then they got the hitbox and then they started playing, they started laughing their asses
Yeah.
off. I'm sure that was the funniest thing.
I think it was their joke character.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, it kind of
experiment
seems like a
with.
joke character, right? Yeah. So like, I don't know, like when designing a vending machine as a character, like you have to do some interesting things with the animations and stuff. Cause like, is this a charge attack? Cause like a vending machine dashing already seems like a charge attack, right?
Yeah.
So how do you like, you know, you can't show the
cannot
punching
imagine.
reel. It's like a very imaginative character.
There's one attack you didn't see from the vending machine, which is it starts spinning and like throws its power cord at the opponent.
a power cord?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And you can charge that. So the more you charge it, the farther away it gets, more damage it
Oh,
does.
he has a power
Oh.
cord. Oh man,
Okay.
that's very clever. Yeah. So that now you get like a ranged
yeah,
attack,
yeah.
like a whip-like attack,
yeah.
because you use the power cord. No, that's so cool. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Right, but in general, it's just like because this game is not meant to be like super serious or anything.
Yeah.
I think I have more freedom in terms of design, like just doing crazy stuff than letting people play the game and see what they feel. It's like again, it's more of a game made to be enjoyed by people, not to be like competed on. Like not.
I feel like some of the best classic games were designed with that mentality, actually, right? So if you look at some of the old school games, like you know, even Street Fighter 2 or even Marvel, the old school Marvel games, I mean, they're probably being designed with a similar mentality of like, is this just make something people enjoy and then it comes out. But then like later, as people get really good at the game, you're like, okay, now you know that this is a Kara move. It's not a glitch anymore. It's like a real like thing that you add.
I mean,
right?
very early on, probably for like the early iterations of Street Fighter and games from like the first couple of years of fighting games, like 91, 92.
Yeah.
But then on, it's like Japanese developed fighting games, for example.
Yeah.
Where like they already had like a big scene, big showing in Japan, and like big events, big tournaments, like all the arcade craze. So I think the games that actually are more like that are probably like the games that were made more with console in mind, especially Western developed games.
Yeah.
Like games like of course some of these made it into arcades as well, but you can notice like they're like more thought for like fun and not for competition stuff like
Mortal Kombat.
KI. No, Mortal Kombat is like more ended up being like more still like being thought more for competition. Even had like constant revisions
Right.
for like,
You mean like the
certain
old
bugs
ones?
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But like games like I don't know, KI, Primal Rage, Weapon Lord, or the Japanese fighting games like Sailor Moon, TMNT, Tournament Fighters, Gundam Wing, Endless Duel. Those games are like just fun, but they're still like you can still feel the quality. The Power Rangers fighting game as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Battle for the Grid. Yeah.
No, the one for
Oh, the old Power Rangers on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, the Super Nintendo
Yeah,
one.
it's a total-
I don't remember playing that game.
So it was actually made on the same engine of Gundam.
Okay.
Gundam
But
Wing one.
but
Huh.
I think they made the Power Rangers game first, and then on the same engine they built the Gundam game.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically, it's based on like around the time of the first Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
So you basically have the main Megazords at the time. So you had Thunder Megazord and Mega Tiger Zord, because you had the White Ranger at the
White
time.
Ranger one. Yeah.
And then you had like the movie and like the movie Megazords, the Shogun and Ninja Swords. And then you had like the Lord Zed and like some of the monsters of the week, Goldar, and then the final boss Ivanus,
old
which was
Goldar.
the bad
Yeah.
guy from the movie. Also, notoriously one of the toughest fighting game bosses of all time, because he can cancel out of hit stun anytime.
Oh, that's broken.
Oh.
So you,
know,
can hit and then you can cancel off of. What?
Man, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, if you play like Final Fight and those kind of games where like bosses will just
They
just-
they don't play by the rules.
they don't play by the
Yeah.
rules. Yeah, you like punching them and hit stun. It's like they're
General rule of the Final Fight bosses is that you can never melee them.
yeah.
Because they will wake up, attack you, and it's like
Oh, that's right. They
Yeah.
have invincible DP or
So you
reversal.
cannot be, you cannot max punch
They
an
have like
opponent.
a few invincibility frames when they wake up, so they always have priority over you if you try to like
Yeah.
clash with them when they're
Yeah. That's why when you play bosses and you knock them down, you generally kind of stay away
Yeah, yeah.
more. Yeah. No, that's yeah.
That's the rule, man.
It's so
you learn
funny.
the hard way.
Yeah. I guess just one last kind of a question to kind of pick your brain about your game design philosophy. I guess. So you mentioned something interesting. You said that those games were kind of fun based games, but you can tell they were quality, right? Which means that there is some kind of like there's a lot of good thought put into it, right? And so this is kind of where I guess the line between like kusoge, right, or trash game, that's a Japanese colloquial term for kind of a game that's kind of like maybe too wild or too out of bounds, and then and something that's fun, right? And I think it can be fun and it can be a quality, well thought out game, but it's interesting if you look at like some games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is considered a classic, right? And competitively a classic. It's like the person who won the most Evos, Justin Wong, won it with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It is considered a very legit game, but then if you look at like the glitches it has and all the balancing, right? Like there's just some characters that are just not viable. There are many characters that are just not viable, right? And so, like, what are your thoughts on balance and approach to balance, and how important do you think it is? Like, if the vending machine character becomes the sentinel of this game, then what does that mean? How do you feel about that?
The thing is that you have to make the distinction between like if a game is fun to play and if a game is good competitively, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Marvel 2 is a well-designed game for those reasons. Like, not as much the glitch. Well, there are some very egregious glitches. Also, it happens that when usually the best characters usually have like the most options, and that's why the best.
Yeah.
That also means they usually are the ones that have like the game-breaking glitches. Like, for example, one of the most nefarious ones for me in Marvel 2 is Sentinels Unblockable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you have that kind of stuff, it shows that it's like there's a lot of issues with the game.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of balance and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't think I feel of it as a great product.
Yeah.
In terms of like refinement.
Yes.
But for me, if you have a player that can define find out figure like close set of skills
Yeah.
in order to be consistent on winning at the game. For me, as long like the game is good competitively, as long as the results are stable.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
if the results are stable, then it's a good competitive game,
Yeah.
right?
But I guess so. People have to. So this is kind of interesting. I think we're getting at something here. I think in order to get there, to find out that this is a game where somebody can win in a stable environment if they put enough effort into it, the game needs to be played long enough, right? So if you just played, let's say Marvel vs. Capcom 2, everyone just played it for a small period of time and forgot about it, they would have seen all these glitches that have been like, oh, unblockable, look at Cable doing this stuff, and just been like, okay, yeah, this is not a competitive game. And then if it just turned out that people just stopped playing the game, then it could have just been regarded as like you said, like an unpolished game that's just terrible competitively. But the fact that people kept on playing it despite the glitches, because they can't patch that in the arcade, you're just playing it. They learned the glitches. They learned what you can and cannot do. They learned that, okay, this is unblockable in this situation, and that's the way it is. Then you're giving the game more of a chance to become the game that's quality competitively by putting more effort and time into it. And if that is the case, then is the funness of the game, at the addictiveness of the game, does that correlate to how competitive a game can be just by the nature of people devoting more time into the game to find out that it is actually a competitive game?
The thing is that the environment is different right now. So at that time, of course, it did matter, but nowadays it's completely different because
I think that's because I just think that people would not tolerate a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 kind of game now, because it's like, imagine, I mean, they might have fun with it to a certain level, but like to take it competitively, like, we live in a different era where if there's something slightly off in a game that's kind of a little buggy, they're like, fix this, or we're banning you, we're never going to touch your game again, right? But I guess back in the day there was no, you just take it or leave it, right? It's like there's the game there, and if you want to win, and
then also like there's no, like, people could just play whatever they wanted, because there was like no real incentive to pick one game over the other beyond like, I just like this, right?
Yeah.
And Marvel being super popular over there in the States made it so it's always been like the Marvel Versus series has always been like one of the most popular fighting games over there.
Yeah.
So of course it was gonna end up like that, but like no further back than Marvel Infinite. It's like this game is not polished. It's not what we want in a Marvel game, and then it basically a player base died down. Of course, there's still a base of very loyal players and all that. But
those who aren't really stuck with the stereotype, I guess.
Yeah. And also, I feel like, for example, in the case of Marvel Infinite, so the game is so like lacking in terms of depth that the optimal way of playing the game got solved in couple of years.
Right. That's another thing.
And then it's like Marvel 3 has been around for almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, basically 15 years now. And in 15 years, the game has changed a lot, and you can define like different periods of time where the meta has evolved, has changed, things have changed. But Marvel Infinite, once things got figured out, it's like, this is it. It's like this is the way to play the game if you really care about win. The thing is that there's no like big stakes for the game, and that's why you don't see like top 8s of like the 2 or 3 best characters only. People play what they want because like there's no big stakes.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that basically at the end of the day it was like block stun into beam super into tag into mix.
Yeah.
And then that's basically what what drives the game. So
and who can do that better?
So now nowadays like it's not just like the IP or the general concept of the game has to be good. Money is also not a factor, because you can see nowadays with like City of the Wolves having even more prize money than Street Fighter 6 on the like their biggest event. But even that doesn't correlate with the amount of players playing each game. And you could see even back in the day, like in the previous decade, you will see, for example, I always remember Dead or Alive putting big money like 10K in tournaments or circuits
Yeah.
in the States when no one was giving out prize money yet, like outside of Evo.
Yeah.
And still no one will play Dead or Alive. You will make anyone play Dead or Alive. So money is not a factor either. So
Yeah.
it has to be games that basically it's kind of like a self-perpetuating cycle,
Yeah.
because like the more people that play the game, that makes more other people want to play the game, and so on and so on. And the opposite is also true.
Yeah.
If there's less people playing the game, the perception is that no one's playing the game. So there's less people interested in playing the game. So people quit faster, and so on and so on. So
yeah, it's a there's like a cycle to it. I think in Korea culturally, there's when something kind of catches on in Korea, it just explodes, because that what you just said is very prevalent here, and I think it's one of the things that made StarCraft such a big thing, because like people always talk about when they're in school, when they're in high school, that everybody was playing it. That was like the game that everybody was into. And then so like being good at that game meant something. And then everybody, like people from different schools would have their best players, and they talk about what players were at these different schools. And it became competitive. But initially, like I think in order for a game to become competitive, or people caring about the game enough, is that they have to enjoy that game on some level. It just has to be fun enough, right? And so if you look at like Brood War, or just StarCraft, vanilla StarCraft, it was such a novel experience, right? I mean, there's like Command and Conquer, and like there's Warcraft, and
I was there. I played it, and I vividly remember the first time I saw StarCraft myself.
Yeah,
which was in a gaming convention in a university in my country. Like and I have played like some more games before, like even like I like strategy games, so I have played like other games around that time. Like I played Warcraft, I have played Dune, I have played Command and Conquer, but this was like you could see this was different.
Yeah. And like a game like that where just kind of almost nailed everything. The sound effects and graphics. I remember when the Marines were firing their guns, like they lit up, and the art design and everything. The sound effects, the characters are so funny when you click on them. Like
I mean, the evolution from the Warcraft games to StarCraft is monstrous.
Yeah.
It's like the whole, like how it looks, how it feels.
Yeah.
It's leaps and bounds ahead. But that's another thing. Nowadays, you don't see that kind of like evolution in any kind of game.
Yeah. I think it's almost like games have kind of almost maxed out, and it's very rare to have a game that just really nails all the elements together to have that kind of StarCraft moment, or a Super Mario Brothers moment that redefined side scrollers, right? And I think finding that new thing is so difficult, because to be honest, it's really hard to know like what you have to do to get there.
No,
right?
for the most part, everything has been already made, so it's very difficult to think about something new that's not at most the mix of existing things.
Yeah.
But like implement something completely new and original nowadays is very, very, very difficult, and especially with like also with games. Like again, it's like at least on the technological aspect, the visual aspect is not really evolving. Like at one point now, everything just looks like, I remember like from Nintendo to Super Nintendo is like amazing. From Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64, PS1, etc. is amazing. From PS1 to PS2 is still amazing. PS2 to PS3 is still amazing. And then from there on, that's when it started like drastically like stoppable. Like nowadays everything you see is just like it pretty much everything you see, it looks like it can be done on a PS3 or 360, just with like lower resolution textures.
Yeah. Well, the 3D graphics and animations, I mean, you can make them better or worse.
Yeah.
But in terms of gameplay, like the new kind, I think James Chen kind of complained about this on his Twitter one time about like, watching the Game Awards and being like, hey, where's the new like the new Katamari type game that just kind of revolutionizes the gameplay and makes a new kind of gameplay, right? And I think we're kind of in an era where, a lot of things have been tried, but I also think that like it is also risky to make a game that kind of really does something crazy. So this is why I like to joke around with the when I talk with Josh, he's a TO for Uprising. We always talk about like this fighting game. If we made the most ridiculous fighting game ever, it would just be the opposite of what the trends are. So instead of like a comeback mechanic, it's just like when you're losing, like it's just your character gets worse. Like when your character's losing, it's the opposite of a comeback mechanic, and like stuff like that. That's what stun is in a way.
That's what stun is in a way, and that's why I feel a comeback mechanic is fair in a tag game, like with assists, because in a tag game, losing an assist is basically you lost an arm, you lost a leg.
Yeah,
it's not in fighting games, like in traditional fighting games. The attacks you can do at 1% health are exactly the same that you can do at 100%. Of course, you can do some extra stuff. Maybe you have like rage or whatever. But in general, like your normal attacks, like your normal attack repertoire is the same.
Yeah, that's right.
But in team games, in assist-based games, if you lose a character that was used as an assist, you lost a potential combo extension. You lost potential like footsie protection. So you become worse.
Yeah, it's like you losing a DP.
Like the best way to see it in display, like they're in direct comparison, is looking at Arya from Killer Instinct.
Okay.
Oh, the robot.
Yes.
Oh, that's the robot character. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
You can like install
because she is basically a Marvel character.
Yeah.
Because she's 3 characters in one.
Yeah.
Each with like less health than the like each. It's the same health pool of the other characters, but divided by 3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then you have to beat the 3 parts.
Yeah.
And the parts you can switch like which like upgrade you have put on. And the other 2 act as assists, so you can do additional stuff with them.
Yeah.
But if you knock down like one of the parts, then it switches to one of the others, and the part that got defeated becomes unusable.
Yeah.
So that character becomes worse.
Yeah.
The more parts it loses.
Yeah. So this is something I've heard from developers. They talk about this idea of they want to avoid a snowball effect. You know, and the snowball effect is when you're losing, it just becomes more and more hopeless as you're losing, right? And like, you know, I can see why, you know, people would want to go in that direction, because I mean, it's like if you're new to the game and you're losing, and then now you're more likely to lose, even though you're already in a losing position, it's like that just kind of sucks, right? And nobody wants to play a game like that. But then if you look at some crazy hype moment, like Justin Wong making Marvel vs. Capcom 2 comeback with Cyclops.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, he lost an arm and a leg. He's by himself, Cyclops.
That's why for me that's like one of the biggest highlights in fighting games ever. It's like one of the highest displays of skill.
Yeah, like seeing
because it wasn't even like one of the strong characters to play.
No, it was Cyclops.
Cyclops was not a meta character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of meta, but it's like assist tier.
Yeah. He was like playing Street Fighter, you know, and like his opponent was playing Marvel, right? And it's seeing stuff like that is like it's really cool. But then like let's say you know, in that situation, if you're down with one character left, you still had the 2 assists. Like let's say it's kind of like, I think, is 2X KO like that? You can still have an assist after that character dies or something.
Yes.
Or,
I think it gives you that last stand thing.
It has limited uses, but
it has limited uses. So I guess it does kind of you are still a little handicapped. But you know, let's say if Justin still had his 2 characters at that moment, the comeback moment wouldn't have been as hype. It would have still been kind of hype, right? Because it was a big comeback, but
it's not significant.
It's just like to see him alone, the life bars, like just Cyclops life bar there, and you know he has no one else, and he's like actually fighting like multiple people, and you know it's real. This is real. You're fighting against like an army.
You like the odds are completely against you.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like if you looked at like, I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can see like, you know, compilations of people getting in fights outside of bars and stuff, right? But like, you know, I think there's this one video I saw where this one guy like beat up like 5 other people.
Yeah, because he happened to be a boxer.
Yeah, he was just like a really good fighter, and like, but imagine if like he had assists with like 4 other people, that video wouldn't, you know, it'd just be like a brawl or something, right?
That's my big problem with modern fighting games in general. You need to be as a player, you need to be very careful with the variance because it becomes too high. Just because before the punishment was proportional to the level of your mistake,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, if even small mistakes can cost you your whole life. Like, for example, even in Street Fighter 6, I find myself too often for my liking losing half my life bar because I got clipped by random crouching medium kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like for like maybe I'm playing like Honda's like slower walk speed, and then I was just taking one step back, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like a Ryu or a Kami clipped me with crouching medium kick, and because of that I lost everything.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I had like 50% health, and it's still like
Yeah.
that kind of thing is something I don't think is good for the game. I personally don't like it.
Yeah, that's kind of I've thought about this also. One of the thing about Street Fighter 6 right now is kind of the low medium into death, right? And I think a lot of it also has to do with like the executional aspect of it too, right? So like, I mean, if you take something like Street Fighter 4 or like even something like Third Strike, a low medium kick and then converting that into something is there's more of an execution barrier
Yes.
to it, right? So even if you take someone who's like really good character, Street Fighter 4, Evil Ryu, his low medium kick is so good in that game, and it is like a low medium kick touch, and then you can kill somebody. That's how Momochi beat Gamer B in the grand finals of I think the last Street Fighter 4 Evo.
Yeah.
But to do that, it's not everyone can do that, right? It's like I mean, at the very top levels, yeah, people can do it pretty decently.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, I was.
It's like
I
it's
trained
not
it like for a while, so I could do the Evil Ryu loops fairly consistently. But of course, it's a different thing doing that at Evo Grand Finals.
Yeah, yeah, and so like this is like the executional aspect. Once you kind of you put like a 5-frame buffer on the combos, and the executional aspect is it almost becomes, it's not guaranteed, of course. There's people drop combos in Street Fighter 6 and any those games, but it's like when that becomes something that's pretty much like
Standard, like
standard.
if anyone can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it. Then it just becomes like the you just tag somebody. And I remember like some of the things about like the games where the execution barrier is a little bit higher in those situations. There's more variation in what happens. It's like if you see someone that's nailing that every time, like the low medium into like the full damage combo in a game with like higher execution, you're just like, whoa, this guy can do it every time. Oh my god! But if you don't have that with Street Fighter 6, like wow, he can do low medium into drive rush and then get a combo into level 3 every time. Oh my god, where's this guy come from?
Yeah,
like that, you'll never have that, right?
I definitely always admire like big execution characters. It's something I cannot do. Something I probably will never be able to do. But I always admire people that can play at a high level. For example, with Viper in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
With Zato in the old Guilty Gear games.
Yeah.
That was like, it's like you need to have like a split brain to be able to play that
So
character.
yeah.
Or even in modern Guilty Gear, like in Strive, there's this character Asuka.
Yeah.
Who is it's like his own mechanic in itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with how he works.
No, it's
Asuka's like
So this character is like the almighty, all-powerful magician of the universe. Basically,
Okay.
he's like kind of like sorcerer supreme of the universe.
okay. All right.
So he has 3 different spell books, right?
Yeah.
Each has I think 30 pages or around that. Like they have like a slightly different amount of pages, but you know which spells every spell book has from the get-go.
You have to
because you study
memorize
them.
them.
You memorize them.
Oh.
And then when you're playing, you can take a random page from the spell book
Yeah.
that you are in.
Okay.
And then basically that spell, a random spell from your spell book becomes available, but basically you use that page, so it's not available anymore.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to keep track of which pages you have already obtained that come
Oh my
out
God.
randomly,
Yeah.
and then
That's like counting cards in blackjack or something.
Yeah.
it's
pretty
literally
much.
that. It's literally that.
You have to remember what you used, and
Like
you have to also
one
remember.
of his supers is basically just freezing time for like 5 seconds, so you can like
Yeah.
swap spells
Yeah,
just to,
yeah.
to get the ones you really want.
That's
and then
crazy.
and then basically you need to take into account like the combinations you have, or like if you switch books, like in the middle of the whole thing, you have access to a different set of spells.
Yeah.
And then you need to keep track of this other set of spells that you have, and then you have this character has a special mana bar,
Yeah.
right? And then this mana bar is used for the spells. So it's kind of like a little bit like the hero in Smash. I don't know if you've seen the hero in Smash.
Hero character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's similar
Okay.
to that.
Yeah.
The right
Right?
spells.
Yeah.
Right? But instead of like opening a menu and getting random spells, you do like you have 4 slots, so you use, it's kind of like Phoenix Wright picking up clues.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically,
Well, yeah.
it's very similar to that.
Yeah. That's an interesting mechanic you see in it is kind of an anime mechanic, a card game mechanic,
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
have
yeah.
these kind of like rules. This is kind of how I describe anime fighting
You're
games.
playing Magic the Gathering, fighting it.
But then you have to. It's just like in Exarch. The people say that playing Jacko was playing StarCraft in.
Oh yeah, even Jacko is similar.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
was-
strategy game because she has to
playing
throw the
StarCraft
right
in-
minions.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you have to set up the things that deploy the minions,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
do stuff to try to level up before they got destroyed. And try to overwhelm your opponent eventually by protecting those.
Yeah,
So they
there's
can
a
level up.
StarCraft mechanic. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. Of course, there's Faust with the
Yeah,
items and
The
stuff like that.
RNG.
So
stuff.
and the other thing is
yeah.
that this magician character, he also has this mana bar, and his mana bar is used for the spells, but it's also used for defense. So while he has this mana bar left, when you take damage, he has one of the highest defense ratings in the game, but you lose some of that mana. And if you're out of mana and you get hit, it's like he has the lowest defense in the game.
Oh, okay.
So and then you can sacrifice either. There are like a couple of spells that restore mana.
Yeah.
In like one or two of the books, but for the most part, if you want to restore mana, you need to either sacrifice health or bar or like super bar.
Okay. Wow. So this is. Wow. So even if you to play this character at a high level, you have to really like understand, keep track of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then
So
playing against the character, you have to know like what spells were used and what's not available and like what is safe.
I've always thought like this will be such a cool character to learn, but like if I started now to learn this character, I will be, like, considering my own like flaws as a player, because I'm a very slow learner, I will be like somewhat decent with this character by the time Guilty Gear 6 is out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, like, so maybe perhaps like there's kind of there's kind of like an aversion to like high execution skill requirements in fighting games, and I'm wondering if the way people see it is that most people just see that kind of game or character like Asuka, like it's just like a character that just requires all that, and you're like, okay, well, after the game, if I do this for 3 years, then I might be like okay at it, right? So like, just trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody who might not prefer to have a game where there's all these like combos that you can do with this kind of, like Sako combos and all this kind of stuff. Maybe that is the thing that does scare people away. But from my perspective, like the way I see it is not like, and some people might say like, oh, newer games are scrubbier and whatever. The way I don't see it like that. I think I agree with you. I think right now the games are more competitive than ever. It's harder to win than ever. But the thing is, like, the top players, the people at the very top right now, I feel like that if the games did open up a little bit more to have those kind of executional possibilities, you would see some amazing things from these players. Yeah. And that's what I would want to see. It's like, I want to see a Mena RD, like what he can pull off with the if the game opened up a little bit more executionally, because I know that guy can do like some crazy stuff, but it's like
Mena actually comes from Smash, and Smash is high execution.
oh
So,
yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah. I mean those they're no they're not shy about like doing some of the
yeah,
craziest
yeah. So
techniques. Yeah,
so there's definitely. I mean, I feel like personally what I like variety. That's why, for example, for the game I'm working on,
Yeah.
I try to make the characters are as varied as possible to
Yeah.
like give everyone something, like try to give everyone something they can they feel okay, this is my character, this is what I like, even
Yeah.
like just visually make it like at least one of the options like if fighting games in general, I feel like there's so many cool designs. It's like, how are you not gonna find a character that you like? And I feel that should be the prime motivation for anyone to try to learn if they're just looking to learn a fighting game.
yeah,
But also if you look through by other factors, not necessarily by looks, like for example, like I want a character to just style on people, just to show off
Yeah.
how good my execution is.
Yeah.
I think every game should have an option for that too.
yeah, for sure.
And
I would love that, yeah.
That's a thing that's lacking nowadays. Like back, like even not long ago, like in the like I would say like in the Street Fighter 4 generation, you still had like all games had like characters that basically you could use as like just to show off your skill with your hands.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, obviously, there's like one frame links that people will, if they can just nail them consistently, then you're just like, oh, okay. There's like even Ryu, the most basic character, like he had the solar plexus into like crouching fierce.
Yeah, that requires skill.
Yeah, and like me, I was too scrubby to do that, so I would just do solar plexus, cancel
medium?
into Shoryuken. I didn't even
just
do
raw
medium.
Shuriken?
I just did Raj. That's how scrubby I was, right? But
Just like Valle.
yeah,
Valle used to be
I
the
learned it from
Simple
Valle.
is
Yeah,
best.
but
Simple
see, I
is
mean,
best.
but I think that also now when you see Valle, doing that, and then you see Daigo doing the
hard stuff.
the one frame length
Yeah.
version. Now you see kind of two different play styles. But then what I also like was that it's Valle still with that play style, he beat like lots of top players.
Yes.
Like during that time. So like it's a varied gameplay. I think if you're kind of a scrub, you might think that since Valle can't do that one frame link, then he can't beat like good players.
Yeah, the problem I feel is not just simplification of execution, but in general simplification of design, where like in newer fighting games, characters are very linear with their game plan, with their ideas. There's no option to deviate from the established game plan. Like if you deviate, you're doing it wrong for the most part.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, this is another interesting question I want to ask you. There's, as a game developer, you kind of create a game where on some level you have an intention, right? If you make a move that's kind of an anti-air move, you know that like you made that move because like if someone jumps, they can use that to like anti-air somebody, obviously. But if every move becomes something that you intend to make, then you lose kind of that sandbox freedom, right? So like if you look in like a lot of like fighting games where they're kind of more open for like player expression, there's a lot of things that the developers didn't intend that became part of the game, right? And a lot of that kind of seems like luck to me, right? It's not like people were like, oh, let's make this, let's invent the Kara cancel or Kara canceling will be fun, like to have the beginning frames of one move.
I mean,
canceling
cancel is just an accident.
Yeah, cancel is an accident, but now it's like a part of the game now. Developer can't come up with that, like on the spot. I mean, they could, I guess, but like a lot of these things are accidents, right?
Yes.
And do you feel that like when you're designing the game as a developer, you have to be intentional on some level. You can't just randomly put stuff. But then on some level, you also want people to figure out stuff when they play the game so that there'd be more variation. I mean, if you knew every possible outcome in the game, I mean, wouldn't you feel that you on some level you kind of made a game that was maybe too limiting?
It depends really on what your goals are with the game. Like for example, just look at footsies.
Yeah,
It's like doesn't get more simple than that.
Yeah, you can't have like the outcomes in footsies as you can have like the outcomes in Marvel, right?
Yeah. But it still has its own
purpose.
depth, its
Sure,
purpose.
yeah.
So I think it's all on the design perspective, really. Like
Yeah.
some games you want to actually make them somewhat limited, but when you don't want the game to be like too deep, more simple, because it's designed for people that are not going to spend like that like much amount of time either way
Yeah, that's
to
a
like
good
go in
point,
depth.
yeah.
So you also need to consider like the development time that's invested in the project, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you know that the game is not thought to be like a game that's playing in depth with like for decades to come and whatnot, there's not much of a point really like try to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Like, what is the design of the game? Obviously, the game that you're working on is not going to. It's designed to be like an arcade game that you can jump into and enjoy, but not like some 20-year esports
No,
thing or whatever. Yeah, and but
you know.
but then if you look at 2XKO from that perspective, a game that's going to be designed to be supported for a very long time, if their history is any the history of Riot Games is any indicator. Then it almost does make sense that they're putting these kind of mechanics in. But I guess, is it something that maybe they're putting too much up front? Is it something that they could have made the game more simpler but then rolled out? But maybe they're doing that with their 10-character roster. I guess there's a lot of
Honestly, I feel they're still they're still figuring that out.
Yeah.
And I also feel if the game ends up lasting a long time, I feel we're going to see very big variations of gameplay as time goes on. And I won't even dismiss the possibility of characters being fully reworked as they do in League of Legends, which is something that you don't really see in fighting games unless it's like from a complete different iteration from the game to the other.
Yeah.
But like for example, Ken Street Fighter 4, Ken Street Fighter 5, Ken Street Fighter 6, they're three very different characters.
Yeah.
Right. Even though
Each iteration.
So it's kind of like a rework of the character.
Yeah.
But this will be inside the same environment. So maybe they ended up not liking how a character turned out. Like it's something that happens in League of Legends or MOBAs.
Characters that reworked completely
relatively
sometimes.
often. And
yeah, I mean, it is how you keep the game fresh for so long, right?
I won't be surprised. I mean, more than that, it's just that like the way the character keep the game phrases like adding more characters, changing rule sets here and there, balance like constant balancing.
Yeah.
The reworking is more of a thing that's like when we designed this character, the game was in a point where this character fit where the game was at the point.
Yeah.
But it completely doesn't now.
Yeah.
It's like or it's too good or too bad, or like this thing was completely was thought like for example, this thing was thought like no one ever having air dashes in this game, and now some characters have air dashes, so this thing is completely useless. So might as well just rework the character and like create something new, which I think might end up being fairly controversial because they
in fighting games,
one of the few things that like everyone can agree upon in fighting is that everyone hates when they touch their characters.
Yeah. It definitely, that is something that I'm sure they're well aware of. But people seem to be okay generally if they touch their characters in a way that maybe fixes them or fixes one of the problems. Like,
we have to make the distinction between like fixing a character and buffing a character. They're when like, of course you see certain things that's like they're not this is not working the way it's supposed to. And that needs to be fixed. That's a mistake, of course. That needs to be correct.
Yeah, like if the ender in a combo just whiffs and it's not because of the character's
So
size.
that's
those kind of things that
it's
that
completely unintended by design. But when it's something intended by design, it's different.
Yeah, and then but I mean, like, if any character, even if you in fighting games, even if it's not your character, if some other character was changed or buffed, that also like affects
Yeah.
your matchup with that character, obviously in a way. But like even things in fighting games that are very sensitive, where let's say it's not even considered a buff or nerf of a you know, you're an opposing character. Let's just say some kind of like frame thing that was kind of changed, maybe for the animation. Let's say, even if it's something like innocuous like that, I feel that like as if you're in the matchup, if you had some kind of setup or something that you had, it could disrupt you as well. So I think in for a lot of fighting game players who just are endlessly labbing kind of things
No,
and situations,
in fighting games, I feel it's absolutely more disruptive.
Yeah, I know.
Like you have to consider that, for example, in MOBAs like games like League,
Yeah,
the actual time you spend in conflict with the other characters,
yeah,
like even in a half-hour match, the time you actually spend fighting, like just
Like a
like
team fight.
playing footsies, or either playing like League footsies,
Yeah,
like just trying to
Yeah.
like interrupt or like your opponents like farming or whatever, or
Yeah.
like a random jump on a line or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or like the team fights. Even like if you consider all that time, it's still less actual time
yeah.
than the one that you spend on an like average fighting game match, like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
2 or 3
yeah. Well,
sets.
fighting games are, you know, inherently confrontational from the beginning to
Yeah.
end. It's like,
They're always in
I
conflict.
mean, in this game, in Marvel, before the round starts, you're like already like holding forward and like, you know,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
aggressive. You know, you're
Yeah,
already
even
like,
even like in many other games, like for example, even like in StarCraft, it's mostly like the real footsie of the game. I feel
Yeah.
more than like small skirmishes is the observation,
Observation.
the observation and your capability of
Yeah.
defining earlier than your opponent
yeah,
the build route that they're trying to take, and you're trying to build a counter to that, and
Yeah.
being able to adapt on the fly to that.
yeah,
And that basically, for the most part, can define the one big battle.
Yeah.
And whoever wins the one big battle is probably like going to, like the loser from that is probably gonna GG right there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
It's near impossible to get back from that.
Well, yeah, there's like an economic component in
yeah.
StarCraft, of course, where it's kind of like,
So, but
yeah.
in there, it's all the build up to that basically. That's
Yeah.
that's the whole game.
Yeah,
And that's the thing with fighting is like conflict is.
it's just from the beginning to
Yeah.
end, it just constantly
It's just
like
constant.
you're
So
you're-
that's why I feel these balance changes
Yeah.
are more critical in fighting, is because you spend more time than in any other genre experiencing on either side, either on your side or your opponent's side,
yeah.
the consequences of those changes.
Yeah, that's actually a really really good point. Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, to see. Do you know when the final version release date will be for the game, or is it still kind of like are you guys going to do early access first, or is there like a
It's still being defined, but
Okay.
I'm hoping to have something like more news either by like probably around the end of this year. Should be like close to like close to release. We're hoping
Okay.
to have the game playable in at least some way. Probably a little limited, like on the next, like before the end of the year for sure.
Yeah.
And then like more readily available for like the standard platforms, hopefully early next year.
Okay, and where can people find the game and the socials and all that stuff? Where can you point them to?
For now, I'm trying to incentivize the company to like use their social media more, because they
Okay.
they don't like, besides like what they're showing at like some trade shows,
Yeah,
are like
yeah.
The partner in Japan has shown there hasn't been like
Sure.
much talk about the game, so it's definitely at one
Okay,
point
well,
we need to
when you
start.
guys start doing that push, yeah, I mean, yeah, we can put it in the description and yeah, I'd be
Yeah, we'd be happy to help out.
yeah, we
Thank you very
want
much.
to try I want to try the full version. Even the bit that I've played, very cool. Reminded me of being back in the arcades and finding a new fighting game in the 90s, which is it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, like just that feel of discovery. Oh, there's this new cab in town. It's like let's try it.
And even like the graphics and the aesthetics kind of remind me of that era where it was like the most exciting to see something like that. So
I definitely want to bring people back, like that feeling of like the age of discovery is like
yeah. I mean, I think that's something that the new generation might be missing out on a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Thanks for coming here all the way to Korea to do this podcast in person. This was a lot of fun. There's so many interesting conversations. If we ever do that dev meetup thing,
definitely.
We should definitely. I'll let you know. I think your contributions to the conversation would be so interesting. For those who don't know, there's something that we're working on with Corey and then some other friends to get some developer minds on the podcast and some content on it. So
it's always really productive.
Definitely.
This conversation definitely made me realize how interesting it can be with different perspectives, and hopefully we can have you talking with other people who might even have some different perspectives on
absolutely.
how to handle things.
I would love to learn from that. Like I say, I've been pretty much well, I don't want to say like freestyling it, like doing it like a kind of like freeform thing, but it's just like my experience, like learning fighting games, teaching fighting games, and all that, and then just reading about like game design journal, like and combining that with my ideas in general. But I never had the opportunity to like talk with other people that are involved, like or either people that have been like there's I know at least in the States, for example, there's very like many Street Fighter OGs that now work and they have been working in the game industry for a long time now.
Yeah.
And like all these like people from around my generation, for example, many Marvel players working on 2XKO. People like Rip working on the Invincible fighting game, and there's many others like that. And I think it will be great to like trade ideas, see like how they got their way in, what are they doing to learn? Because of course, their access to tools is probably even like more advanced than the one I have. So they probably have like also like access to more like established designers and all that, like working, especially if you're working with established companies, you have people with like more or different types of experience. Well, in my case, it's basically me just trying to
but I mean, just having people from different stages in their career and it being about fighting games, and then seeing what top player perspectives are versus maybe people who are not top players are also in the development phase. All that stuff would be super interesting, and of course we'd be happy to have you on, and maybe you'll spring back up on another podcast or piece of content on that. So
you're the first guest that we have that you appeared twice. The online version, offline version.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Also, something to congratulate about. I saw the announcement yesterday. So he got a sponsorship to go to Evo France.
Oh,
to be representing a team.
Nice. Or Nice, right?
Nice.
But nice. Yeah.
And what I'm so excited about Nico going to Evo France is that Evo France has the new Hunter game as their main lineup.
Oh,
yeah. And when I played playtest in some of the venues I've been to, even for myself as a Marvel player, it's so close to Marvel 3.
Really?
So I'm so excited to see him perform.
It's the same developer of Marvel 3.
Exactly.
And this means that early on in the game, basically you just recycle animations from TVC and Marvel 3.
Wow.
It's so apparent, and even the gameplay style is so similar.
They don't even try to hide it. It's just Marvel 3 with active tag, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And I played it a little. I gave it like a couple of hours when I was in the Brussels Challenge.
Yeah.
And it's like, this feels like I'm back at home again.
Wow.
Like I'm using my...
But I have a big problem with that game.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
It's 7 buttons.
Oh,
Seven button
it's
game.
a 7-button game. It's a very interesting take.
Okay.
It still has your light, medium, heavies.
Yeah.
And it has a bit of like what his new game has. It has the button for the system mechanic.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit more modern take on the
Yeah, so it's
the
like
button
the
scheme. Yeah.
Marvel 3 layout of 6 buttons, light, medium,
Yeah.
heavy, special,
Yeah.
and 2 assists,
Yeah.
and then the system mechanic button.
Huh. Interesting.
So it took me a while to get used to, but then the gameplay style is technically a mix of Marvel 3 and Infinite.
Okay.
So-
So when the after you kill off a character, when the new character comes
incoming mix-up. Yeah.
It
Incoming
does have
mix-up?
an incoming mix-up. It's very immediate.
Yeah.
So there's no time to set it up. But
Okay.
I'm sure people will discover
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, people are already saying it.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No,
I've
I
seen
kn-
some setups where, because you know how Marvel 3, like you're
Yeah.
seeing it now, like when the character dies, you got a bit of time to set it up.
Yeah,
And people
yeah.
know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, but it's like almost immediate. When you die, the next character comes in straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it might reduce some of the options, but people will figure out
People
stuff
will
for sure.
Yeah, it's tough because that game has no motion inputs for
Yeah.
specials.
Ah, that's right. So that kind of can speed up
you
the
have,
setup
like,
timing.
So
Yeah.
you have the special buttons. So that's like if you have an arcade stick with 6 buttons, you cannot play the game.
Yeah, sadly.
Ah, that's amazing.
Like,
Oh my god.
People are thinking that this game is like thought more with path in mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's like I can definitely see
Yeah.
why, because it's very like
Yeah.
like I say, my execution is really bad. So having like to be always aware to like the fourth button to your right
Yeah.
is a little bit difficult for me. So that has been like my it's more than getting used. It's just like
Yeah.
it feels physically difficult for me to like, reach out that button.
Okay. Huh.
I have to train up my pinky finger as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
it's like an untrained muscle that you need to start.
Yeah. Well, maybe our button layouts have been inefficient this whole time, and we just didn't know it. So.
So as a
No.
still a pro gamer, and of course now in the development field as well. So I'm very appreciative of your abilities. Very jealous too.
Yeah,
so,
oh, man.
But I'll be cheering for Nico when at the time. for
Yeah.
Nico
You
Friends
will.
comes.
Yeah.
You need to be jealous of anything. If you want to be jealous of anything, just be jealous of like me having the will to just go out and talk with people, because that's what has helped me get into places and getting me opportunities. It's not-
Yeah, which is really
it's definitely
nice to see.
it's definitely that way more than like my actual achievements. It's always like just having like decided to sit down and talk with someone at a certain event made so at the right time. I just happen to know the right people that allow me to
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's stay connected, and until next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being
Thank
on
you for
here.
having me here. Much appreciated. Much love to both of you. You're my favorite content creator for like FGC content. Like,
Thank you,
by
thank
far.
you.
It's like
Yes.
it's like the stuff I want to watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
One day we do plan to maybe in the near future visit Chile as well. Hopefully,
By all means, like
we
if
want
you
to
go,
to the
let me know.
locals.
I got you covered.
Yeah.
Like even if for some reason I'm not there, still let me know and I'll still make sure
Wow, the
you're
hospitality.
yeah.
All right. All right. Muchas gracias. Thank you for everything.
Gracias a ustedes.
Yeah.